You're listening to Until They Sleep. Please note, this programming may not be appropriate for younger listeners. On this episode, we discuss our first-time visit to the Temecula Balloon and Wine Festival 2025. Listen in as we discuss our love or hate of it and our people-watching commentary. Thanks for listening. Hello and welcome back to Until They Sleep. This is Chantel and I'm joined by my husband, Daniel.
What up, everybody?
And happy belated birthday, baby.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep, just had another birthday.
Yep, he just had another birthday. He is that much closer to the big 5-0.
Getting old.
But he's not there yet.
Getting old.
Yeah. And we did something for his birthday, early birthday present. And we went to the Temecula Balloon and Wine Festival on...
It was the final day. The final day of the ceremony starts on Friday and it's on Sunday.
Yeah, and so it was our first time going, and I think our consensus is that we enjoyed it.
Yeah, so we always, well, at least I did. I always used to think, like, you hear wine and balloon festival, and I'm like, how touristy can it be? Because, of course, Temecula, having all those vineyards there, and it's always, fancy, expensive cars, kind of people hanging out or doing their thing, and we never get to go to any other stuff, and we just know that the traffic gets crazy, and it always gets packed for that weekend, and we try to avoid that area. And so we never actually care to go, and I always kind of used to, like, trip out because I would see the people that would go, and I was like, oh, these are, like, old, washed-out bands, or the people forgot, or they're not around anymore, or I didn't know they were still touring, But to my surprise this year... I saw that it was all country music, a lot of outlaw country, a lot of old country singers too, or bands. But I got crazy excited when I saw Jamie Johnson's name in there because he's one of my favorites. And I saw Whitey Morgan in the 78s, and I saw Cody Jinks. And so I was like, no freaking way that this is... Actually, Cody Jinks is the one that led me to find out that Jamie Johnson was going to be there. So then I had the dilemma of if I wanted to go to see Cody Jinks or Jamie Johnson, but then I was like, well, who would I like more? So for me, it was Jamie. I did not know that every artist was going to be playing less than an hour.
Again, yeah, it was our first time going, and I'm not a huge country fan, as much as what did we call you, Red Mexican?
Mexican.
My Red Mexican husband, he loves his country music, and I'm not at his level, so he was kind of doubtful that I was going to enjoy myself, and I actually had a really good time. Like, this outlaw country music was a lot of fun for me. I was on Reddit reading through, like, people's reviews, and I even heard commentary from my coworkers about things that they had read, like on Facebook or just heard through the grapevine about this event, and how actually a lot of people complained.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people complained, I guess because it's now under new ownership.
Yeah, that's the one thing I heard, and I found out that it was, somebody, I think events.com bought it, and so then they're in charge of it now. Yeah,
but again, we have nothing to compare it to because this is our first time going, and I thought it was awesome. I think, and some people were complaining about the price. And I started thinking about, we saw 5 bands, that some of them are currently touring still.
Yeah.
And we would never be able to see all those bands in a year, at any venue, at their own, tour venues, just because of the cost to attend each of those. So in this event, we were able to get a little bit of all these bands that, we enjoyed. And, like that my husband thought he would never see Jamie Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was just kind of like, yeah, it wasn't a full-blown concert, but it was just a little taste, and it was more than he ever expected he would be able to have.
And don't get me wrong, like that hour set or 55 minutes set, 45 minutes set some people got... They were like playing. It was like back to back. They were playing. They were getting at least
Whitey Morgan was so much fun.
Yeah, I think he was my favorite.
Yeah, and I
My favorite
really
performance.
enjoying that Wyatt Flores kid.
Yeah, he was
At the
funny.
end, at the Wyatt Flores, I mean, 23-year-old from Oklahoma, and I did not think I was gonna like him, but we were actually getting ready to leave right after Jamie Johnson, and I heard him playing. I heard Wyatt playing on one of the stages, and I was just like, oh, let's just listen. And yeah, I enjoyed the music. I really had fun listening to
Yeah, he
him.
was high energy,
Yeah,
like
high
just fun.
energy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, Whitey Morgan was high energy
Oh,
too.
yeah,
And
Whitey
that
Morris
first
is
band
shit.
we saw when we first got there, they're called the Fresh Veggies Microbrass. They're out
Right.
of San Diego. That was so much fun. I had
Yeah,
so
they're
much.
cool.
Yeah, that
I,
was a lot of fun.
They were just picture it kind of like Brass Against the Machine, but country,
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, like it's a guy in a tuba, a trombone, and a saxophone and a drummer,
Yeah.
and they're like playing just hit after hit after hit, and like their own stuff, and then they did a couple covers. I love how they did Put a Spell on You, and the guy's got like the singer's got like the voice box effect going on, and he's doing the trombone at the same time, and he's making the trombone be kind of like a lead guitar, doing the solos and playing with foot pedals and processing it, and the whole time he's just like nonstop working. He had this badass shirt that I loved that was like a Zapata Misfit shirt. I was like, oh yeah, that's a cool shirt. Like I really liked it.
For as much complaining as I'm seeing online or hearing, from other people about this event, again, we
It
had
seemed
nothing to compare it to, and we thought it was great.
For me, it was well organized. I mean, you go in there, they had the parking set up. They're letting you know where to go, where to park. Then you go in, and they have it all labeled. Like the 3-day people stay here, the campers over here, the 1-day general admission over here, the VIPs on this section. They have the security, the metal detectors. They inspect it. They ask you to pick up your pants, of course, if your boots beep. Because they want to make sure they're not carrying anything in your boots.
That was one of the complaints was somebody said it wasn't well organized.
Yeah, you walked in and there was we got to see the last song and
Oh,
hear
we also saw Jane
Preston.
Preston, right?
Yeah, and he was pretty good. It was just a guy solo acoustic set, and the main stage was the entrance stage was the Toyota stage. Mm-hmm. They had all the T-shirts and benders and stuff like that. Like it was laid out. We followed it. We saw the water towers for filling up your water
Yeah,
containers.
the water stations, yeah.
They had a lot of first aid stations, a lot of food vendors, and then we got to a wine court, and then we kept on following the track, and that's how we found stage C,
Which was the fresh veggies.
which was a little small, kind of what do you call it?
Was where the dive bar was. It was over in that corner.
What do you call those platforms?
Amphitheaters?
Little small amphitheater. Thank you. I was thinking like cupola, in Spanish.
Amphitheater, yeah.
So the sound was really good. We checked it out. There was some, metal
All the
statues.
sculptures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sculptures
the metal sculptures.
that they had there. My wife has been posting the pictures throughout the week and some videos. And yeah, we walked around. I mean, yeah, everything was freaking. To me, it was pricey. But
I think
haven't
that's
gone out in a
normal.
while.
For think about the times we've gone to the fairs. Like we go to the Renaissance Fair, the LA County Fair, the Orange County Fair. It's all expensive, especially alcohol, right? You go to get a beer, or you go to get any type of drink.
Yeah, but when I saw that a margarita was like $50,
I didn't see 50
yeah,
bucks for a margarita.
I was like, no mames. And then beers were like $20, and I was like,
yeah, I saw drinks for
fuck
like
that.
$18.50 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like the average price. And then, so going through all these things I was reading online, people were complaining that the wine section was too small.
It was.
It wasn't very well represented. And I agree because there was maybe 5 wineries represented and we're literally in wine country.
Right.
So I definitely would have expected to have seen a larger wine, what's the word I'm looking for?
Presence.
Yes. A larger wine presence.
When you call it the Wine and Balloon
Exactly.
Festival. But so before, when I remember it, yeah, it was a lot of wineries. There was a lot of people, right? It was just all wine. And there was hot air balloons first thing in the morning, and they would take off and they would do the rides. I do imagine that back then it was maybe more like that, more uppity, more expensive, more pricey. I imagine the bands will play differently. I think there was 2 stages, so I think everybody, I think the amount of artists was small, like not as many, so they probably had a bigger window to play. and then we'll go on, right? I mean, most of these people are like retired or have the time off during the summer, hot, you're getting
Yeah.
wasted.
I mean, I don't know because again, we've never been before,
So
so
now it's actually a company this is what they do. So I imagine they were like, well, if you want to have here, you need to have this permit, this license. I imagine they got a little stricter.
I mean, yeah, I
They had to
don't.
cough up a little bit more money to cover for the bands and
Again,
maybe
I
a
didn't think
kickback.
it was a
I don't
bad
know.
price. I
Yeah, but like you
People are
said,
complaining $99 to get in to see all these
yeah,
bands.
I thought that was great. Like, I actually, well, originally when I first looked it up, it was like the 3-day package or a 2-day package, and the prices were up there, and it says like payment plans available and everything. And when I started
Yeah.
looking it up, I was like, holy shit!
And
What are
then
you
they also
talking
have like
about?
camping
Yeah,
packages
like
and
5Gs, 3Gs, 1200, like depending if you're on a tent or an RV or what do you want to do if you want to hook up. So I was like, that's out of my budget, you know. So then I was like, well, one day, right? Let's just see one day. But then I could have sworn it was more than $100 when I first looked at it, and I was like, well, that's for two of us plus the kids, and I was like, all right. I couldn't get it out of my head that Jamie Johnson was going to be there. So I remember I asked you, I was like, hey, is your winery going to do anything? Do they have any hookups or any discounts or anything they can come through? And you told me no. So I couldn't get it out of my head, and I don't know why. I forgot that I have this whole bet tick thing for veterans that they help you find tickets or might get them a discount or donations or anything like that. And it was just a coincidence that I thought about it. I went in there and there it was. They had just posted up, and it was like the week before. And I requested for that day. You enter like a lotto, like a draft, and I we got picked, and I could have asked for up to 4 tickets, and I thought about taking some friends, but then I was like, no, you know what? My wife and me never go. I was like, me and the kids, wife, me and the kids, and I was like, my wife was like, let's make it a date night. We got the tickets and paid for it. And then we found out we could have taken the kids with us, but we were like, no, let's just keep it as a date. And I don't regret it. And like my wife said, we started thinking about it, talking about it, and we're like, hey, you know what? That is pretty good for what we saw, for the amount of bands. For me, in the beginning, I was like, I don't know some of these artists. I don't, they're up and coming. We still got there early, right before 2. Like I said, we saw Prostin. We saw the Fresh Veggies. We went on and saw, was there Annie Bosco?
oh yeah, Annie Bosco.
She was entertaining. And then my excitement was like, okay, the Steel Drivers. I want to go see the Steel Drivers. That's a band that Chris Stapleton started on, a little bluegrass.
That was fun too.
And they were awesome.
Yeah.
And then I kept on thinking about my friend Sam Show. Like, it's just, that was like,
He
straight
was
off
the
his
first
eye.
one to like things whenever I
Oh, yeah.
posted. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about him.
Thank you, Sam Show, if you hear this.
It was kind of like the Toyota stage and then the main stage. And we were like, well, the way that they had it scheduled, I was like, I don't know if I'll make it back to see the beginning of a concert, like the set of this artist. If I go see this artist, or I can go watch him for half an hour and then come back. But nah, man, Steel Drivers was over. We walked away. We made it
Well,
in time.
remember we walked away and they came back on stage, but I had to go to the restroom, so we still walked away, but we could still hear them perfectly,
Yeah.
like all the way to where the restrooms
And
were.
they played 2 extra songs
played
that
2 more
were
songs.
sung by Chris Stapleton. So I was like, of course, now that I walk away.
Yeah, and then we walked over to watch
Yeah,
Whitey
went to-
Morgan.
yeah.
And you were worried that we were going to miss the beginning of Jamie Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't. Whitey Morgan finished his set, and then we walked over to get
Yeah.
back on our seat. And what was nice is like everyone just left their seats and walked away, and it was so nice just to be able to find a good spot and put our seats down and not worry about it.
Yep.
And then we went back and got back in our seats in a good spot, and we watched Jamie Johnson. And
Yeah, and it was funny, right? Because I said they had these rules, and they were like posting it everywhere.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
your chair cannot be taller than this and wider than this.
yeah,
And
again, it
don't
was
bring-
our first time.
yeah,
so
bring your own water, but it has to be sealed. Don't bring no containers. Don't bring nothing. And lo and behold, we get there, and there's freaking water refill stations. So we're like, okay.
So
Like
we
you
could
said,
have
no.
brought our water bottles.
And then there was people with chairs that were over the size
Yeah,
limit.
they're hammock chairs and stuff. And here we are with our little camping stools.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying
Smash my
I
balls
mean,
twice.
honestly, it was easier to carry those than it
Oh,
would
yeah,
have been
for
to
sure.
carry the chairs. But for comfort when we were sitting, yeah, it would have been nice to have
I
our big
I loved it.
chairs.
I had a great time. I loved it.
I
Thank
had a
you.
great time
It was
too.
awesome.
I had a great time also. Again, I I really enjoyed it. I was dancing most of the time, moving my little tush, and I thought it was fun. I really enjoyed it. So I mean, one of my coworkers, she told me, she's like, hey, I heard that it was, that wasn't worth it and that it sucked. And I said, you know what? It's my first time going, and to each his own. Like, everyone's going to have their own opinion. If you've been there before and you had a different experience, then yeah, okay, you got something to compare it to. I have nothing to compare it to, and I had a great time. I had no expectations going in, and the music entertained me. The food vendors I thought were great, because that was one of the things that I guess whoever she talked to had complained about, was that there wasn't enough food. And I said,
There's so
I
much
thought
food.
maybe there was more in the past, but I mean, they had barbecue, they had like Caribbean food, they had,
They had a Korean fusion with Mexican
yeah, they had sushi, they had,
sushi.
and then they had carnival food, your typical carnival food. So I don't know. They had
Yeah.
beer, lots of beer,
Yeah.
places to get beer, places to get, margaritas. And I love the fact that they had the free water stations. That was
Yeah.
nice, and I mean, you also could get regular water. I thought it was great. And I told my coworker, I was just like, you know what? Maybe they didn't like the lineup. Maybe it wasn't the type of music that they were really expecting. Because I saw a lot of people there that I would not expect to like outlaw music. So I don't know. Maybe those were the people complaining. And a lot of people were there to see Alabama, and we did not stay to see
No,
Alabama,
no.
and that was the main headliner. You
So
know,
it's closing out the
yeah,
festival.
they were the ones
Yeah.
closing it out, and we didn't stop to see them just because we had to get home and get to bed, because someone had to be up super early in the morning to go to
Up,
work.
be me.
Yeah, had to be out the door super early, and so we were just trying to get home in a decent time so you could get some sleep.
Yeah, I was
So
thinking about taking it off, but we're short staffed, so I had to go in there extra early, and so that was part of the reason why we didn't hang around. And we didn't even finish Wyatt's set, and
yeah,
I
we
kind of felt
didn't.
bad. I wanted to stay, but I was like, okay, we're pushing it in time. We hadn't eaten, because I was like, I am not spending
Yeah,
money right now. Like, think about it. If you go on a tight budget, you'll be fine. But if you want to splurge and go for it, you'll be fine. Like, either way, you can make it happen.
yeah,
Like, they had stuff to cover all.
all budget
Yeah,
levels.
all budget
Yeah,
levels. Yeah, and I think maybe that's where the problem is. Like I said before, it was more uppity, more upscale, and now they're like catering to more of the area. Because even my boss had told me, like, who the hell wants to go to that thing? Like, it's so. Me and my wife went, and it sucked. It was horrible. We hated it. It was all dusty.
and that was
It was all
before.
dirty. Yeah, and he's like, and it's all these old rich people just complaining and drinking wine and being like at a hippie festival, and it was like everything's so expensive, and it sucked. We don't care to go again. Blah blah. And I was like, okay.
That was
And
not
then
our experience.
he was the one that was like, yeah, that's weird that they're going with all this outlaw country. Like, who the hell's gonna show up to that? It's gonna be that. Not like there's a lot of people that that are like country fans. And I was like, well, there are a lot of farms in Temecula, and there are a lot of ranch hands, and I imagine a lot of the ranch hands are the ones that are going to go see Whitey and Wyatt and Jamie, and maybe the steel drivers, the old country people. And that's exactly what I expected, and that's what I saw. I
Yeah.
saw a lot of.
And a lot of people were showing up for Alabama. Like, by the time we were leaving,
There was people showing up for
there was
Alabama.
people still showing up for Alabama. So, I mean, yeah, it was actually really empty when we first got there. Mm-hmm. But
We got there
we're
before too.
yeah, we're totally fine with that. Like, we have no problem not being around a big crowd. And it wasn't like Whitey had a good crowd. Like, Whitey Morgan had a good crowd. I think Wyatt Flores had a good crowd. Jamie Johnson had a good crowd, and there, I don't know where all this dirt comes from, because we were in the grass.
Yeah.
So I don't know if in prior years, maybe the venue was held in a different area, but I mean, we had nothing but grass. So, I mean, yeah, our boots got a little dusty, but
To be
no
expected,
big
yeah.
deal, And almost everybody was sitting under the grove of trees. Because
Yeah,
like
at the
this,
main stage.
yeah, at the
Yeah.
main stage, there's like this giant grove of trees, several yards from the stage, and the majority of people were just sitting in the shade under the tree. So that left the front
Yeah.
for whoever
Yeah.
was
No.
willing to
Yeah.
sit in the sun. So we were able to get good seats, I think.
Yeah, I think my wife. I was worried for my wife. I was like, "Oh my god, she's gonna have a horrible time." Maybe Jamie Johnson's a little too mellow for her. I was like, "Steel Driver's a little bluegrass." I was like, I'm not saying she doesn't like it, but it might. She might just be like, "Oh, you know what? I wanted to sleep a lot with the music." But no, man, she had a great time. She loved it, and she enjoyed the people watching. That was one of the things.
Oh yes, I was people watching.
For me, Jamie Johnson like blew my mind because I already see him like a great artist, and so watching him there, I was like, this guy's a true musician. Like he knows what's up, and I love that he's I don't give a fuck attitude because it's like, look, I'm gonna invite the girl that was here earlier, Donnie, Annie
And then the
Bosco.
James Preston
And
kid.
I was like, I'm gonna do. Yeah, he brought on James Preston to kick off his set, and they got down and there. It was like a blues, like they were. It was like a blues marathon. They were going back and forth, that was an awesome set. And then Bosco came in, and then he's like, I don't know if Alabama's gonna do this later. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We're gonna play the Alabama song, and then he showed right there like he's got a voice, and she couldn't match it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think she could match his power and his
And
voice, but
yeah,
she's still up and coming.
and then he just played like his blues off, and he played his hit, and I was a little disappointed because people weren't singing along that much, or they were afraid to sing out loud. And yeah, it was quick.
It was a
quick.
little more mellow, I think, than what I had been getting from the other
Right.
bands.
Yeah, because even Annie Bosco, I think is her name.
Yeah.
She was energetic. She was up and down when she played her set. She was like her songs were like all women power and
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't find it as fun as the others.
No, of course
But,
it was
I
different.
mean, we were sitting when we
Yeah.
were sitting in the
Yeah, we're
in
trying
the
to cool
grove of
off.
trees.
Yeah, we were trying to cool off at that time.
And it wasn't even that hot, honestly. It could have been.
Oh yeah,
The weather was not as
no,
bad.
not
you
as bad
know,
as it has been. Yes.
Yeah. So it was a nice day overall, and it'd been a nice weekend overall. And then my point with the people watching. Oh my goodness. If you are one of these women out there wearing Daisy Dukes where I can see your hoo-ha, I mean, come on. Like, if every time you stand up, you're trying to pull those damn Daisy Dukes down to cover your butt cheeks, but it's not working because that's how short they are, and you keep pulling on them because that's how short it is. Seriously, better choice in outfit, please. Please, please, please. Like, and then, gosh, all the cellulite. Oh my goodness. I know I'm a woman and I have cellulite, but at least I have the decency to not flaunt it. It was disgusting. And then, like, I didn't see any men flaunting anything. Like one guy, right? The
Yeah,
one
but
guy.
that motherfucker had the body.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had that body, I'd never wear clothes either.
And then there was the one guy in the overalls, right? He didn't have it.
The tricky dude.
Yeah, the
Yeah, but
chunky dude in
that
his
was cool.
overalls with all his tattoos.
He had it right. He had it right.
Yeah, my husband agrees that as long as you're wearing overalls, you're allowed to not wear a shirt underneath.
Yeah, that was fun because like he was nice and cool. He's getting the breeze.
Yeah.
But yet the overalls were coloring his gut and his chest.
Yeah. So I didn't see any inappropriate men, but women have some self-respect. Like,
I just think that, maybe the divorcees and they're just trying to, they're like
and it's not
past
even
cougars. I don't know.
Yeah,
trying
I
to-
mean, it's not even young ladies. These are women that look my age or older, and I'm just like, what the heck are you wearing? Like, I know it's a little warm out there, but it's not that warm.
Okay, so that's my wife's complaint. You guys ready for mine? This is okay. Call me stupid or naive, but why the fuck would you wear a cowboy hat with flip flops or tennis shoes or shorts or like I don't know. It's just I think when I think cowboy hat, like you're supposed to be wearing your jeans and your boots, right? Like it's just it goes together, it goes together.
Yeah, he was having a really hard time,
And it was driving me crazy seeing these people with the hats and
and sneakers
sneakers and
or
flip
shorts.
flops or chanclas or in shorts. I was like, oh my god, what are you doing, man? What are you
Was it the guy
wearing?
with the shorts and the boots and the hat?
No. Oh, and then there was this one dude. Guys, okay, this guy had his girlfriend, and she had Daisy Dukes and boots, and I guess they're young couple. And the guy's got like 501 jeans cut off to the thighs with boots and a wife beater and everything. Like it was tight as shit. And you're like, oh, is it like a gay friend or something? But then when you see them making out, you're like, well, I guess that's what she finds sexy. And so I was making jokes to my wife, like, do you find that sexy? Do you want me to cut off some jeans and get them really freaking tight and go out in public like that? And then the other thing I noticed, it's stupid. It's stupid, but does everybody get the cattleman crease on their hats?
It's
Like
probably what's popular.
every hat I looked at, everyone had that, and I don't know if it's just a typical simple thing that you just get at whatever store, might be the generic store that you just go and
That
get.
boot barn.
Yeah, Boot Barn. I did see a lot of the Boot Barn once, and or there was people that had hats there, and there was like some little cheapy kind of like kid toy ones there. I saw a couple guys with those, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess they're trying to fit in, and they just bought a souvenir from the concert.
The other thing you were mad about was not wearing felt hats or dark
Oh my
hats.
fuck! It is okay. I mean, we're saying it's not that hot, but it's hot. Okay, we're talking about we're high 80s, maybe low 90s.
It's still in the 80s, people. Yeah.
And it's the day, and there's sun, and the etiquette is that you don't wear the felt hats during those days. You're supposed to be wearing your straw hats and be nice and cool.
And it was funny because you'd been pointing that out throughout the day. And then when we were at the Whitey Morgan concert or session, I was like paying attention. That's like, oh, okay. Well, this group of people know the rules, except for those two girls right there. Because there was two
Right.
girls right
Yeah.
up front who were wearing dark felt hats, and all the men were wearing
Yeah, the
the
straw,
straw
hats.
hats.
Yeah,
All the
straw
men.
hats.
So I was just like, all right, well, the men know the rules, and I don't know if it applies to women
I've
too.
I've made a mistake. I actually put on some pomade on my hair, and I was sweating, and that shit was dripping. I looked like I had a Jerry curl.
Yeah, he got really sweaty.
And I usually, when I wear my hat, I don't put anything on my hair. I should have left it like that. I would have been fine.
You were worried. Oh, I know when we got the next day, he's just like, oh my gosh, I left my hat in the car. Can you go bring it to me? And I bring his hat, and he just needed to make sure that the interior leather liner didn't get messed up with his sweat.
Right.
It's like-
Yeah. I was sweating a lot, but yeah. So no, I was just tripping out because my hat. I have the CHL crease on it. It's my first hat with a CHL, and I really it's a cool hand look. I'm sorry, and I really like it. I really like it. I enjoy it. I do like the Kettleman crease, but it was just I was like amazed at how many people.
I just think it's what's popular. Honestly, that's all it is.
It's gotta be. It's
The
gotta
cool
be
hand
something
look.
like that.
I never saw anybody else with that.
No, I didn't see anyone. Not one
I think
person.
it's like that's just something you wear when you know.
I guess. Yeah, but that was it's small, it's dumb, and it's fine. But yeah, I was just like, why? Like even, I mean, I saw a lot of guys, typical the boots, their jeans, and a hat, baseball hat, like the trucker hats. That's fine. That's acceptable. So guys in their boots and t-shirts. That's it. Simple. I just never imagined I would see people with hats and wearing like khaki shorts and flip flops and socks and
Well, babe, they're at a country concert, and you just wear. They're not worried about their feet; they're worried about their hat because, like we said, it was hot.
yeah.
It's like the equivalent of those women wearing those. Don't need to wear
Yeah.
Daisy Dukes, I guess.
Yeah.
And and there's probably someone out there that's like, oh, you're just hating on them because you can't wear that. I could wear it and look just as bad as they did, but I have enough self-respect to not wear it.
And don't you guys start with that shit about body shaming, right? It's not body shaming. It's just like courtesy,
And it's
like,
courtesy to other people's eyeballs.
I mean, there was kids there. There were
Yeah,
kids there.
there's children there that don't need to be seeing you bend over and
Yeah, I saw so many butt cheeks. It wasn't even
so
funny.
many,
So,
and
and then there
even
was
young
young
girls.
girls. Yeah, I was like, I remember my wife got worked up because there was a couple of girls, and she was like, "Our daughters never." And
Yeah,
I started
some
laughing.
teenagers. Yeah, like under 15, and I was just like, our daughters will never go out like that. Like in if I can see their butt cheek hanging out of even a skirt, like there were even women in skirts with their butt cheek hanging down. I'm just like, no, no, like why?
This was all like pretty much like I said, country or outlaw country. Like
Yeah,
there was nothing else going on. Like I guess last year you were saying that there was like Stone Temple Pilots or
yeah, like fuel and lit
Fuel
and
and Lit. So that's whatever alternative rock. And then they had Leonard Skinner, and that's who closed it out. So it changes. I think the year before that, they had a couple of like R&B people or hip hop people. So I don't know. Events.com's in charge of it now. I thought it was well organized. I thought it was nice and clean. There was a lot of sheriff presence. There was a
a
lot of
lot.
medics. Medic tents. There was yeah. I mean, there was food. There was drinks. There was vendors. There was art. There was families. There was kids.
Yeah.
Oh, my people. My Hispanic people. Why you always have to walk around and have that freaking face of you just unhappy to be there?
Like don't go then.
Yeah, there was a couple guys there that were just being total asses, and their significant others were trying to have a good time and trying to dance and trying to get engaged, and they're just like, I
Maybe it
don't
was just because they're
know.
there on a date trying to impress the girl
I don't
and
know. That was like when we were watching the Fresh Veggies. There was
uh-huh.
that guy that sat next to us, and the girl was trying. They were like our age,
Uh-huh.
and I remember the lady was trying to, you and me were dancing, recording, having a
Uh-huh.
good time,
Yeah.
singing, and this guy just looked like I wanted to punch him. I wanted to punch him. I was like he looked at me a couple of times. I nodded it. He did not back, so I was already like, well, okay. And then she
But
was
he
like,
wasn't even country looking.
"Nah," and he's like, "Let's dance or whatever." Yeah, he was just trying to be all uppity and shit. So I was like, "No, no." And it was funny because one of my boys, when we were leaving, he's like, "Dad, don't get in any fights."
They also said don't drink. And we
Yeah,
didn't.
he's like, "Don't get in any fights. Like, just let it go. Just shake your head. Like, don't start. I don't want you to get arrested." And I was like, "Why?" I was like, "Nah, I just have a feeling that you're gonna get pissed off and punch somebody." I was like, "No, no, no. I'm too old for that crap."
Well,
It was
isn't
my
it a
birthday
little
gift.
sad that your son thinks that though?
No, it's
Like
not sad. Why is it
it
sad?
is sad.
Sad to you, not to me.
That's sad to me.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that was our experience. We had a good time, first time
So where
going.
you go again?
I would go again.
Do you recommend it to people to try at least once?
I would say try it at least once, but make sure you're going because you like the music. If you don't like the music, you're not going to have a good time because the whole point of going is to see the music.
Yeah, or go with a group of friends and you think you're gonna have a
Yeah, I
you can
mean,
kick it and
don't
have a
go
good
for
time.
the wine, don't go for the food. Go because you want to have a good time with the band. Like that's the only or get to know some new bands and be open to the experience because
Or maybe a band that you kind of like. Oh, I kind of like them. I'm not sure. Or they were going to see it later down the road in a concert. Where like we don't want to spend I don't know,
yeah,
two
you want
hundred
to
and fifty
spend
dollars a ticket or
yeah, you
400.
don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on it. You want to get just a taste.
Yeah, I want to get a
Yeah.
taste or an introduction to them. Then definitely I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because again, it was our first time going and we're a broken record here with this, and we had a good time. But again, we also went with the mentality of we're here for the music.
All right. Tell me, who was your favorite performer for the night?
It was gonna be Whitey Morgan.
Whitey Morgan.
He's
And
gonna
who's
be
your
my
second?
favorite. Wyatt Flores.
White Flores your second.
Yeah, and then the Fresh Veggies.
And Fresh
Then the
Veggies,
Steel
three.
Drivers, and then Jimmy Johnson.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I respect that.
All right.
There was some funny jokes between Whitey Morgan and Jamie Johnson. Because they did a cover of Social D and Prison Bound. And so they were asking about it. He said, "Oh, I usually talk a lot before this song, but I'm not because we're on a tight schedule because of stage A and kind of like Fox Stage A, and this is the main stage, the Toyota stage, Stage B, and tell Whitey I said that. Oh no, tell Jamie. Like it was just hilarious.
Yeah.
He's a funny dude. They're awesome live. I've been listening to them for years, and now that I've seen them live, it's like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had fun.
Yeah, for me it was Whitey.
We had fun.
Yeah, for me it was
And if people
Whitey Morgan 78.
Yeah, and if people want to complain that, oh, it wasn't this, it wasn't that, you know what? To each his own, honestly.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I know that one of the complaints was that they don't do the balloon rides anymore.
Yeah, that I did read that they do them, but it just goes up and down.
Yeah, up and down, so everybody gets a chance to go up a balloon and come back down. And it's like first thing in the morning.
Again, what are you going there for? Like, if you want to go on a balloon ride, like, pay for it and
you
go
can do it
at
any
like 6 in
other
the morning,
weekend.
any day.
Yeah,
right?
you can go any weekend. They have them every weekend out there.
Yeah, every day there's balloon rides. We see them all in the sky every morning. So, you're welcome to go for a full balloon ride anytime.
I guess the main thing will be is if we can ever look it up and find out is like if they consider a success, if it was a money success for them.
Yeah, the numbers aren't out because I was looking that up, like, for statistics to see like what the attendance was, and I found that historically they get about 30,000 plus people.
Okay.
Which is a lot more than the 9,000 they first got in their first, or 3,000 or 4,000, whatever. It was really
the first year they did it.
The first year they did it. It was like,
how long have they been doing this?
I didn't remember.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see that date, but they said on average for the whole weekend, it's anywhere from 30,000 plus. And I mean,
how long have we been living in this area? Almost 10 years?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. We've been here 9 years.
9 years. And they've been doing it as long as we've been
so.
here.
Yeah. So I guess it started out over on Inez Road. It was like 35 balloons or something like that that went up in there. So, I mean, it has its history. If you guys want to look into that, I didn't research all of that other than I just saw what it was about and what it is now about. And again, the statistics for this event I could not find, so we don't know if they consider it a success based on previous
I guess
years.
we'll find out down the road if it's coming back next year. So we'll see what happens. They'll start comparing it like that.
Yep. Well, that's how it works. Anyways, we just wanted to let you guys know what we did and how it went. And
overall review of the place, we say thumbs up.
We say thumbs up. So.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for listening. You guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.